If you're a jiu-jitsu athlete, you should be lifting weights twice a week, and past that, you're kind of wasting your time. In this video, we're going to dive into how many sessions you should be doing per week if you're trying to get stronger as a jiu-jitsu athlete, where you should be putting your energy throughout the week, skill development versus physical development, and how all that lines up in terms of your goals on the mats and in the gym. So a really crucial thing to consider when looking at your strength and conditioning is the balance of your skill development versus your physical development. And it's vital that we develop the athlete physically. We build strength in the athlete, we build power in the athlete, we make the athlete bigger, stronger, faster, better conditioned. We have to keep the skill development in mind, because if the athlete's not getting better at the sport and winning and improving on competition day, what's the point? We always have to judge these two things in a context. How is the skill development affecting the physical development, and how does the physical development balance out with our ability to develop our skills? Obviously, there is always going to be a bias of training time and volume massively towards skill development. And in fact, it's how little can we use over here on the physical development side of things to still give us what we need. And that brings me into my next point, which is my personal approach to building out strength and conditioning for my jiu-jitsu athletes. And that's a minimum effective dose approach. I believe that we should be giving the athletes as much skill development as we physically can over here on this side of things. And the role of the physical development is to supplement this side of things as much as we can. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to titrate this amount over here of how much physical development, how much resources we're using up on behalf of the athletes, time, energy, and availability. And we want to see how much we can squeeze out of that to use the minimum amount that is still effective, so we can maximize how much we have over here in terms of skill development. Because taking a minimum effective dose approach, I find, is one of the most beneficial ways to getting buy-in from athletes as they develop physical qualities on this side of things and still have plenty of time and energy for their skill development on the mats. And it's very important to have the athlete bought in on both sides of things, because ultimately it's their ability to deliver in their sport that's going to win on competition day. But wouldn't it be really nice if they had a really big gas tank, lots of squeeze for their submissions, and had the confidence that they had the pop in their movements and they could go after their opponents? Because I don't know about you, but a combination of feeling really confident in my technique and really well conditioned and really strong, that's going to make for a really, really winning combination. And that's where the minimum effective dose policy shines through, is it lets us put our energy where it's needed. Now there's another side to this, which is the demand of where your energy will need to be placed over time. That can change. And we'll often see athletes come through that at the start. They need to build a bit of strength and they need to build a bit of size. And then over time we transition that to building some endurance and some isometric qualities in the athlete. In tandem, building aerobic and building conditioning base into the athlete as well, so that we have access to a wide range of physical qualities at our disposal. Because jiu-jitsu is a sport that is going to demand a lot of our bodies, so having access to a myriad of different physical qualities is a really vital part of preparing someone adequately for the sport. So at certain times, your energy might need to go into certain things. You might need to drop a session on the mats so that you can build more conditioning. Or you might need to drop a bit of gym time so that you can spend more time on the mats if there's something that you particularly need to learn that's really going to be the winning thing in you winning your next competition. But it's having the flexibility and the mindset to be able to put the energy where is appropriate based on where you are in both the training cycle in the year, your cycle in the development as an athlete personally, and the major competitions that you have in front of you. Because the best athletes are going to be able to be flexible to all of these demands, and in tandem, the best coaches will be able to develop qualities throughout the year and over successive years while navigating all these factors. And that's why it's great to be flexible about where we can put our training time, our training volume, and our training energy so that we can maximize our weakest links and really draw and close the gaps of what we need. Yeah, it's great to always work on your strengths, and you should always work on your strengths, but you should also work on shoring up your weaknesses as well. But then, like all things, there's going to be exceptions. For example, I'll often say to people, you should be training 2 days a week, unless you're a professional. If you're a professional jiu-jitsu athlete, you have a lot more time at your disposal. And then one of the first things I'll be saying to you is you should be adding more training volume in the week, because we're still applying the minimum effective dose principle. It's just that both sides of the equation have been scaled up. Because a professional has more time at their disposal and has more training resources to allocate throughout the week, they should be looking at getting more time on the mats and more time in the gym, time on the bike, and time doing plyometric and speed power sessions as well. Again, this harks back to our principle of putting the energy where it needs. If you're a professional and you have a lot more energy at your disposal, you should be taking the time to invest in your physical development. Particularly as a young or developing athlete, this is time that will pay massive dividend then later in your career. And then there's always an exception made for people that enjoy one side of training more than another. We're always talking in this context of trying to optimize the training as much as we can and get as much out of our time. But there's definitely something to be said for, I enjoy this type of training a lot more, and so I'm just going to put more of my training time there. And those are certainly the exceptions, and there are other exceptions to the rule as well. But as a generality, it's really good to apply this minimum effective dose principle and try to draw from as little training as you need in the week. Because the whole reason that we're doing that, and the whole reason that we want you drawing from as little training as you can in the week, is so that you can put all of that extra time, energy, calories, all into jiu-jitsu, all into making your jiu-jitsu better. If you enjoyed that video and you'd like a program that I've designed where I've put a load of really good exercises for jiu-jitsu and I've got video explanations for the whole thing, so you can just click on the videos and it brings you straight to a YouTube link and there's explanations of everything. It's really, really clear. You can find that at the link in the description. If you pop your email in there, I'll send it over to you. And if you're curious about jiu-jitsu strength and conditioning, that's one of the best ways to get started. Pop your email in there, it's free. I'll send it straight over to you and you'll be able to get stuck into that straight away. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you on the next one.